Scientific discovery and innovation rely upon scholars to have a rich understanding of prior work.
To understand a research topic, they must take time to read, extract meaning, and identify connections across many different papers.
However, as scientific literature grows and becomes more interdisciplinary, this gets increasingly challenging.
Consider a junior computer science researcher interested in getting a broad understanding of a research area with which she is unfamiliar. Say this topic is misinformation and fact-checking. Not knowing what the important subtopics are, she starts by conducting a literature review using a common scholarly search engine and searches for the phrases misinformation and fact-checking. However, even though all the papers in the search results look relevant, it is difficult for her to see the higher level themes and how individual papers relate to each other by only looking at the paper titles and search snippets.
She could read survey papers and that would give us a broad overview of the topic, but systematic literature reviews can take time and effort, and not all topics and fields have survey papers. And even if a field has a survey paper, it can quickly become outdated as new research emerges. Visualizing citation graphs are another common approach to help people understand how multiple papers relate to one another. But this graph structure can be really complex and lack explanations, so users still end up making sense of individual papers to understand the structure of how things in this topic space relate to one another. So it's difficult to explore how other authors summarize the same topic and build a bigger picture of how everything relates to one another within this topic. Another alternative is faceted search interfaces, which allow users to see an overview of different topics in a search results page and dive into exploring specific topics of interest. Categorizing provides coherent and mostly complete labels. However, manual categorization takes time and effort and is hard to keep updated. Automatic categorization is often based on metadata. For example, Semantic Scholar presents fields of study, publication types, authors, etc. as facets papers can be filtered by. But metadata isn't always available, and also these labels are often too general and don't provide meaningful insight into the topic or domain. They can also become quickly outdated as a field of research advances. Our approach is inspired by the observation that in every paper, scholars make sense of prior literature on a topic and include these as part of related work sections, introductions, and also discussion. This synthesis adds context and structure to individual papers and references, almost like providing a blueprint, laying out how the papers in this topic space are connected to each other. So could we scaffold literature discovery and synthesis by leveraging the context and structure from prior literature? To understand the user challenges and strategies when exploring and making sense of related work paragraphs on a topic, we conducted a formative interview study with scholars. There were 10 participants across diverse domains ranging from neuroscience and geography to HCI and natural language processing. We conducted interviews asking participants about their workflows for conducting lit reviews, and then asked them to explore and read a set of related work paragraphs extracted from multiple research papers on a particular topic. Here the topic was fact-checking and misinformation. Challenges observed in the formative study inform our key design goals, which are to support users in inferring higher-level meaningful organization of topics and diving deeper into subtopics, enabling users to fluidly prioritize and explore similarities and differences between related work paragraphs, and helping users prioritize and track information gained over different terms, references, and subtopics that they've already explored. Imagine the same task from before. The researcher switches to relatedly with the same query,
and the system returns a list of related work paragraphs relevant to the query in the overview view. Wanting to get an overview, she skims through the section headings and quickly learns different subtopics such as fact-checking and rumoring, the dilemma of fact-checking datasets. The section headings allow her to skim through the overview view to get a sense of the different high-level research foci. As authors often structure their related work sections into relevant subsections based on themes, these titles can help describe the gist of the paragraph's focus. As she becomes interested in the subtopic of fact-checking datasets, she starts to read the related work paragraph that has it as a section heading. She clicks some of the references to see their metadata, including title, abstract, TLDR, authors, publication year, conference it was published in, and the citation count. And she collects some of the ones she wants to read later by clicking the copy button. Noticing the current paragraph was published 4 years ago, she clicks on the Explore Similar Paragraphs button. In the Similar Paragraphs view, the system brings up other paragraphs from the search result that are also about fact-checking datasets. As she skims through the similar paragraph, she reads about how the other authors have summarized prior work about this particular subtopics across different papers. For example, AI-based fact-checking methods that rely on datasets, or datasets for misinformation detection, and datasets for fact-checking. These are extracted from different source papers. She starts to understand connections between multiple referenced papers and concepts discussed within this subtopic. She starts to feel like she's getting a more holistic and well-rounded understanding of this subtopic. She continues reading other paragraphs, including the ones that were published more recently, to more comprehensively explore this topic. She then returns to the overview view to explore other subtopics. She notices the paragraphs she is shown have changed as a result of her exploration thus far. Paragraphs have been dynamically re-ranked to prioritize ones with more unexplored and dissimilar references. She also notices that some of the paragraphs have sentences low-lighted that referenced papers corresponding to ones that she's already explored. Paragraphs also now sometimes have certain inline citations highlighted that point to unexplored references that are semantically different from the ones that she's explored before. She skips over some paragraphs with many sentences low-lighted and focuses on a paragraph with multiple different highlights. Lastly, she checks the progress bar to keep track of what proportion of the entire set of related work paragraphs and references she has explored so far. Now, to evaluate the system as an alternative approach to literature review, we conducted a within subjects user study where participants were asked to explore literature on 2 scientific topics, with the ultimate goal of producing an outline for a survey paper on each topic, using relatedly in one condition and using a baseline system that returns a list of papers in another.
Baseline condition emulates common scholarly search engines, but additionally allows the user to read the paper sections with paragraphs that contain 3 or more references. This lowers interaction costs by just clicking the Read Related Work sections for each relevant paper returned by the search engine.
Participants produced better quality outlines when using relatedly versus in the baseline condition, as rated by topic experts who were blind to the conditions. System logs reveal that users of relatedly interacted with significantly more information, both paragraphs and papers, than in the baseline condition, despite having the same amount of time for each condition and access to the same set of papers.
Participants also self-reported that they preferred to explore related work sections using relatedly than to exploring a list of papers to conduct literature review, particularly indicating that they preferred it as a method to discover relevant research, make sense of the found information, and keep track of and prioritize found information. In fact, 5 of these participants even volunteered to continue using the Relatedly system to conduct their own literature reviews, suggesting that this can truly be a novel way of conducting literature reviews by leveraging existing related work sections. We believe the Relatedly approach brings us one step closer to leveraging information and structure available on the web to support knowledge exploration and synthesis.